Well, hello, Texas Longhorn fans. Welcome to the Horns Illustrated Field Level Game Recap for the Texas and Kansas game on Saturday at DKR. As we know, Texas won 40-14. When you watch this video, turn your phone on its side, or even better, cast it to your smart TV. When we put this video together, we optimize it for a 4K environment, and so the images will just be absolutely unbelievable when you're watching this on your big screen TV. Let's get started. Well, first of all, we know that Texas won 40-14. It was a great game. It was probably one of Texas's most efficient games that they've had all year. They had 0 punts, which is amazing. First, let me tell you about this picture here. This is Jake Majors, the center for the Texas Longhorns. Majors is also considered a football cyborg. This is a term that his offensive line coach, Kyle Flood, gave him. Also, Steve Sarkisian, head coach, said that the offense runs through Jake, because he has to know everything that's going on. He has to know all the assignments, so he can direct not only his front line, but he needs to know what is happening so he can relay it. Here in this picture, he's showing that Quinn Ewers that there's something off to his right. So Texas, in their 40 points, they put up a total of 661 yards. 325 was passing and 336 was rushing. Of the 336 rushing, my goodness, Jonathon Brooks had 217 on 20 carries, which was absolutely an incredible day. Also, from a receiving standpoint, Adonai Mitchell had 10 receptions for 141 yards. Xavier Worthy had 7 receptions for 93 yards. So it was an absolutely amazing day for a lot of these players. Baxter had 16 carries for 68 yards. And so it was a fantastic day. Texas had 0 punts. A couple weeks back, Coach Sarkisian talked about how Texas needed to improve their efficiency on first downs and also when the game first starts. So first drive of the game, Texas goes 7 plays for 88 yards in 2.45 minutes. And here's Quinn Ewers on a 30-yard run up the middle to have Texas's first score. Texas has been running Quinn Ewers quite a bit throughout this season, the first 5 games. In fact, he has scored a touchdown in every game except the Alabama game, and also in Kansas he scored 2 touchdowns. And so he now becomes a dual threat to any team that is going to be playing Texas. Texas also in their second and third drive scored points. It was 2 field goals by Bert Auburn. The second one was a 30-yard field goal to put Texas up 13-7. It's important to note also because Bert had missed 2 field goals, one from later in the game, one from a 50 yards and one from 47 yards. And instinctively we think, he's reached his limit how much he can hit the uprights. But Sarkisian alluded to, there's some other things in play here. Maybe the snap, the cadence of the snap, the hold. There's other things at work. So we're going to probably see him kick a lot more from a lot of long distances. Here's Jason Bean as he's running down the field. He looked like he had opened the field to get to the end zone. What you can't see here is Jalen Catalon, free safety, coming in. He's about to tackle him in like a microsecond, and when he tackles him, he forces a fumble. Unfortunately for Texas, there was a Kansas City player, Hibshaw, who was just in perfect position to capture that fumble and then take it on into the end zone for a Kansas touchdown. Jonathon Brooks had an amazing day with 20 carries and 217 yards of rushing, 2 touchdowns, and his longest was a 67-yard run. Jonathon was also recognized by the Big 12 as the Offensive Player of the Week, as well as he was honored by named the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award Player of the Week as well. Interesting side story. So on Mondays, we get to meet with Coach Sarkisian for his press conference and also meet with several of the players. After it was all done, I was on the elevator with Christian Jones, and he got off the elevator, and there waiting for him on one of the floors was Jonathon Brooks, and Christian turns to him and says, "Do you know you're the number 3 running back in the country?" And he looks at him and he says, "Me, really?" And this kind of goes to show you what kind of humble, athletes these guys are. They're just focused on doing their job and not looking at the stats. But that was pretty cool. Here's Jonathon getting into the end zone as one of his 2 touchdowns. After the touchdown, that's Jake Majors lifting him high into the air, as he did with a lot of people who score touchdowns. He did this with Bijan Robinson all the time as well. Here's Jonathon on the second touchdown here. When he was carrying the ball, he averaged 10.9 yards per carry throughout the game and throughout his 20 carries. Pretty remarkable. Here's Xavier Worthy. In the game, he had 7 receptions for 93 yards. He was averaging 13.3 yards per carry. And then he also had his 39-yard long run. One of the things about Xavier, Coach Sarkisian has talked about, is that, he is such a threat that the defense has to cover them. They cannot let him, which opens up the middle very nicely for anything that Texas wants to do. So he had a great day. He had 70% of his passes caught, and his yards after catch was 46 yards, which is amazing. Here we see Xavier Worthy giving a stiff arm to Kansas as he's traveling down the field. Jahdae Barron. Jahdae had 3 solo tackles. One of them was for a 6-yard loss in the game. He also had a fumble recovery. We'll see pictures up here in a little bit. That was amazing. He almost scooped it up and scored it. Here, Jonte Cook, number 2, had a reception for 26 yards in the third quarter. He was 2nd and 12, and he ran for a first down for Texas. He had playmaker Adonai Mitchell. He's a transfer from Georgia. He's from Houston, so he's back home with his family. And one of his amazing catches, and on the day he had 10 receptions for 141 yards, and also a touchdown, as we saw earlier. He was averaging 14.1 yards per reception today. Ja'Tavion Sanders, tight end for Texas, he had 1 reception for 10 yards. He twisted his ankle, or he rolled it, and he was out for the rest of the game. But here we see Sanders hurdling over his defender who was trying to tackle him. He's able to get 10 yards out of it. Texas defense was brutal against Kansas. Here we see Barron Sorrell punching the ball out for a fumble. On the game, Texas forced Kansas into 6 punts, and then also 2 turnover on downs. In the entire game, Texas had 41 tackles. 23 of them were solo. Jalen Ford had the most with 7 total tackles. 5 of them were solo. One of them was a tackle for loss and no quarterback, followed by Jahdae Barron, who had 3, and all of them were solo. Texas freshman number 4, C.J. Baxter, had 2 receptions for 16 yards. This one, he's stiff-arming Kansas to try to get away. He also was able to get a first down on this. The environment at DKR is absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the greatest experiences people ever have. They certainly never forget it for the rest of their lives until their grandkids. Here, the student section, they were piping in burnt orange smoke, and then students were crowd surfing in the student section. So great time at DKR. In every game this season, Texas has done something pretty remarkable. They have 3 consecutive drives where they score touchdowns, and this game was no different against Kansas. In the third quarter into the fourth quarter, we had a touchdown run, a 1-yard touchdown run by Jonathon Brooks, and then here we see Adonai Mitchell with a 9-yard throw from Quinn Ewers for another touchdown, and then to top it off with the last touchdown of the day, Quinn Ewers ran to the right for 1 yard, dive over the line and got a touchdown as he crossed just inside the pylon. And this put the game out of reach. This point it was 40-14. Texas went 5-0, and they are now 2-0 in Big 12 play. So next up is OU. It's Red Rivalry Week. It's going to be an exciting time. Texas and Oklahoma are both same records, 5-0, and we'll see you on Saturday at Cotton Bowl. Hey, thanks for watching till the end. We really enjoyed doing this. We hope you enjoyed it. Texas Longhorns are an exciting team. They're having a fantastic year. Consider subscribing to Horns Illustrated. We appreciate that. Also, leave a comment, if you will. Tell us how we can improve. Tell us what you like, what you'd like to see, and we'll certainly do our best to bring you the best of Texas Longhorns. Welcome, Horns.